Great morning, kings and queens. Yeah. Welcome to another conversation with Drew. This is a wonderful Wednesday where I am so honored and privileged to share my gift with you guys. The knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the Father God, who's blessing me to keep coming before you guys and blessing y'all with this truth. Working on, being the best version of myself daily. To be able to share with you guys, things that I experienced personally, things that I've learned, over the years, the things that I know experientially, so that we can become the best version of ourselves. And, today I want to talk about our past. It's so imperative that we understand the detriments of it. The past is like an anchor, and either we're dragging something along by trying to move forward, or it just stuck to something and we can't move at all, and just seeing, how it's affected us, over the years of not being able to embrace the moment of now and not being able to move forward in lives the way that we were created to function like. It's so amazing, when we finally grasp the power of this nature, the power of this beast. I was, reading Philippians 3, and Uncle Paul, he was saying, he said, not that I've already attained, and already perfected. So he was, starting off by letting us know, like, listen, man, I don't have this thing, I don't fully comprehend this thing, I am not perfect yet. I'm striving for perfection, but I'm not perfect yet. He said, but I press on. He said that I may lay hold of that which Christ Jesus has also laid hold of me, or in other words, that I may apprehend that which is already apprehending me, or that I am going to seek that which is seeking me. And that's what was so powerful when I understood that. He was allowing us to start off to know, like, look, I'm not perfect. I haven't gotten this thing yet. He said, but I still need to press on and go towards, what it is that's calling me, that is literally pulling on me, Then he went on to say, he said, brother, I do not count it. He said, I don't count myself to have apprehended this thing. So I don't comprehend this thing fully. I don't fully understand this thing. I have not laid hold of this thing yet. He said, but the one thing that I do, he said, forgetting those things which are behind. That right there, man, when I seen that in the midst of in the wake of everything that I was experiencing personally and the wake of where I was going in my own life, he said, but the one thing that I do, forgetting those things which are behind, he said, and pressing towards those things which are ahead. So that's letting me know, look, I can only go forward in life. I can only embrace the fullness of now by first forgetting those things which are behind. He said, and then reaching for those things which are ahead. He said, I press towards the call, the upward call of God, or I press towards the purpose that God had placed me in the earth to do. I press toward that one thing, which is the original intent for why I'm here. So if I am living in my past, if I am battling things of my past, there is no way that I can move forward and go into what God has called me and created me to do, has purposed me to do, because if I am in my past, there's no way that I can become the fullness of who I am. If I'm in my past, I cannot express or be in the expression of love that's happening right now, peace that's happening right now, joy that's happening right now, prosperity and abundance that's happening right now. Everything that I'm supposed to be right now, I can't experience that if I'm dragging this anchor along, or if I'm stuck because my anchor is still down, which we call the past. And it really blessed my spirit, man, once I got to that place, once I really understood the detriment of the past, how harmful it is to our right now, how harmful it is to our future. He said, the only way that I can truly continue to move in the now towards what it is that I was created to do is I have to forget the past. And I see so many people struggling with the past every day, dealing with past issues in their lives, from abandonment, to principles of the past, to relationships that have hurt us, to experiences that we have gone through that won't allow us to act on faith right now. It's so amazing when you understand the detriment of the past. It's so amazing when you understand how harmful your past can be, because then you begin to focus on, how can I relinquish that? How can I release that thing that's trying to hold on to me, so that I may not go into be what God created me to be, that I may not walk in the fullness of my purpose and who it is that God created me to be. So how can I release the very thing that's trying to keep me from being great? That is the past. And so I want to talk to you today about your past. And it's not the easiest thing to get over. It's not the easiest thing to get through. It's not the easiest thing to deal with. And I recognize that and I realize that. But what I understand is this, is that it's dead. The past is dead. There is dead bones. And so when we are living in the past, we're living in something that is no longer alive. We're living in something that no longer has life. And so every time we revisit those thoughts, and every time we revisit those emotions that's tied to those thoughts, we are breathing what God has given us, the breath of life. We are literally breathing that into something that's dead. And we're literally trying to give something life that no longer has life. It doesn't make sense, I know. It sounds crazy, I know. Because if I would have never ever released the idea of the old Drew Clayborn, if I would have never released that in my youth, if I would have never released that in my teenage years, if I would never release that in my early adult years, I wouldn't be this guy who I am before you guys today. I understand the importance of it. That's why Uncle Paul said, he said, when I was a child, he said, I thought as a child, I understood as a child, I spoke as a child. He said, but now that I'm a king, now that I'm a man, He said, I no longer do childish things. And it was so imperative, and it really showed up in my life, in my previous relationship that just ended, right? In a moment, that very pivotal moment in that relationship, when I was struggling from going into the king that God created me to be, and letting go of the peasant that I always was. The peasant was the liar. The peasant was the manipulator. The peasant was the deceiver. The peasant was the cheater. I was trying to transition from the habits of that person, or of those principles, into the fullness of who God created me to be, the king, the lover, the truth bearer, the honest guy, the loyal and committed person. I was struggling going back and forth between those guys, and God put that verse from Uncle Paul on my heart. He said, when I was a child, he said, I thought as a child, I spoke as a child, I understood as a child, but now that I'm a king, now that I'm a man, he said, I put those childish things away, and my life changed forever. Why? Because I was holding on to the past. I was literally holding on to the things that I thought that I was. I was holding on to the things that I used to do. And literally, I could not come into the fullness of who I am today and who I'm going to be until I relinquished those things, until I released them. I had to release my past. I had to release the past habits. I had to release the past thinking. I had to release the understanding of the past in order for me to become the great who I am today. And the great who I'm striving to still be. Because if I didn't, believe you me, I wouldn't be who I am today. Now, my relationship, it did not last because of those things that I did in the beginning. But what I became and who I am, I'm telling you now, is a far greater version of myself than who I was 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. Because I literally let go of the past. I had to forget those things which were behind me. Those things were trying to come with me. He said the gate is narrow and the way is straight, meaning that you can't pull all of that stuff with you and walk through this thing. You have to let it go in order to walk into the fullness of the greatness of what you were called to be. The king you were called to be, the queen you were called to be. These principles have to be applied. And once I understood the principle and I began to apply the principle, which is wisdom, life changed forever. So what I'm saying to you today is that whatever you're experiencing in from your past, right now, what you're dealing with, whether it's your finances, That understanding has to be let go. Whether it's your relationship, that former understanding has to be let go. Whether it's your friendships, that former understanding has to be let go. Whether it's your parenting, that former understanding has to be let go. Why? Because the fullness of who you are is not in your past. The fullness of who you are is in your present and in your future. But the only way that you can do that is by letting go. Letting go of something that's dead, that's no longer working. It's like you literally have all of these strings attached to your back. Like you have all of these strings attached to your back, and attached to the end of each string is a skeleton, is a lifeless individual. And you're literally dragging this thing along into every circumstance you walk into every relationship that you walk into every friendship that you walk into every opportunity you walk into. You're dragging these dead bodies, these dead entities, these dead problems. Is dragging you down. Is causing you to be weighted down when you have to reach back, use that machete, and let go of these things and release them and cut them off. Because that's the only way that you can walk in the fullness of now. It's abundance that's happening right now. It's prosperity that's going on right now. It's love that's going on right now. It's joy. It's peace that's going on right now. It's opportunity that's going on right now, presently, right now. But if you are failing to live in it because of your past, you are missing everything that God has for you. And I understood that. And I understand that. Because this relationship that I just got out of, man, it crushed me. It crushed my world, man. I'm telling you. Like Fire Marshal Bill used to say, like, let me tell you something. Like, man, like for real. It crushed my world. Everything that I thought and believed would be my future is now gone. So I'm understanding the importance of letting go of my past. Because I have to get to the understanding as I develop it or work on it every day that I'm a king and I deserve the best. And just like you, king and queen, you deserve the best. So if a moment in your life where you thought this opportunity was going to provide a lifestyle for you and it failed, let it go. If a moment in your life where you were in a relationship and you thought you had the best king out there, or you thought you had the best queen out there, and it did not work, let it go. If a moment in your life where you failed as a parent and you're regretting those things, let it go. If a moment in your life where you were working on being in shape and you dropped 20 pounds and then you stopped and you picked up 30, let it go. Let go of those things of your past. Start embracing the moment of right now. He said, be still and know that I'm God. I'm like, man, for real? In the midst of what I'm going through, Pops, you telling me to be still when my heart is hurting? Where it feel like a semi-truck keep going forward and backing up and going forward and backing up and going forward and backing up and doing it all over again. You're telling me to be still? Yes, son. Yes, daughter, be still and know that I'm God, because you deserve the best. But the only way, son, that's the only way, daughter, that you can have the best, if you let go of your past, if you cut off that anchor because it's stuck to a rock that you can't get down to and reach. You have to cut it off and let it go, so that the boat of prosperity, the yacht of destiny, the yacht of abundance that you're currently on can sail into the sunset happily. But that's the only way, kings and queens, that you're going to get there. You have to let go of your past. You have to release that thing. Because if you don't, it will drag you down, man. I see people fighting it every day. They are fighting issues of the past. Listen, currently right now, what's before them, the opportunity right now before them that's right in front of their face is absolutely amazing. Things have changed, things have evolved, things have grown into be the best of what they desire. But because of the past, they can't even acknowledge that. Because of the past, they can't embrace it. Because of the past, they cannot be the greatest version of themselves with the opportunity that's right in front of their face. The very thing that they're asking for is right in front of their face, and they cannot embrace it because of the past. If that does not tell you how powerful your belief in the past is, how powerful your belief in something that something that is dead is, you are missing it, kings and queens. I'm telling you right now, look at a LeBron James, right? When you talk about destiny, when you talk about purpose, right? I didn't even think of this until right now. Look how he left the place in Cleveland, Ohio, right? A place that burned his jerseys, a place that called him every single name under the sun, an owner that called him everything but a funky monkey, a black funky monkey, called him almost everything but a black funky monkey. He came back, letting go of the past. He came back and fulfilled destiny, his purpose that no one could stop. But if he would have held on to the past, he would not have fulfilled something that was already written in the heavens. He would not have fulfilled something that was already engraved and written in the wiring of his DNA, of the very being of who he is and the very purpose of who he is. He would not have fulfilled that if he would have held on to the past. I hope y'all are getting this. Because that past of you being abandoned, of you being homeless, of you being without a father, of you being without a mother, with you being with a mother who was on drugs, with you being with a father who abused you, with you being with a cousin and an uncle who raped you and molested you, with you being in a position of not having nothing to look forward in life, no hope. If you are out of that moment, you are experiencing the greatness of right now. But if you are continuing to hold on to that past, you will never, ever win a championship in life. You have to let go of the past like Uncle Paul admonished us to do. He said, but the one thing that I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching for those things which are ahead. Because he had to let go of the past in order to reach for his greatness. Because if he never did, if he never let go of the past, he would not be the Uncle Paul that we know today. If you do not let go of the past, kings and queens, you will not let go. You will not make it into what God has created you to be. I'm telling you right now, kings and queens, your very existence, the legacy of your family, the legacy of your children, the legacy of your bloodline, the divine destination that God has purposed for your life, it will not be fulfilled if you continue to hold on to the past. So what that we were oppressed as African Americans and we were once slaves? It does not matter. God did not create us to be slaves. He created us to be sons. So you have an inheritance in this earth right now that's waiting for you. You have an inheritance, kings and queens. So do not hold on to the fact that you believe that some white man runs this world. He doesn't. Principle runs this world. And because you're lacking it, that's why you're not in a position of greatness. Principle runs this world, not a white man, not a black man, not an Asian man, not a religious group, not a sector, not a group of people. They just have principle that you don't have. That's it. But once you get that principle, you become unstoppable. So what? That you were molested. And I have empathy for you and I have sympathy for you. But that is not who you are. You are not a victim. You are a victor. You have greatness inside of you. Why? Because if that thing was that powerful, it would have killed you. And God said, no, I need you to get out here and speak to the rest of the people who believe that they're victims and be an example to those who believe that they are victims, that you can overcome and become the greatest version of yourself and have victory over something that tried to stop you in your youth. So what that you were in prison? So what that you have a number? That does not define who you are. You are not a criminal. You are not a prisoner. You are a free man. He said, who the Son sets free is free indeed. You are free in your beliefs. You are free in your expectation. You are free in the desire to be great again. You are free to be the king and the queen that God created you to be, regardless of your past. That's how great you are. Because if that thing was that powerful, it would have killed you. But it couldn't stop you. Because you still have life. You still have the treasures of God in your clay of jars, in your earthen vessel. You have an opportunity right now to receive this amazing information, this amazing knowledge, embrace it, begin to digest it, and fulfill the purpose that God has created in you to be. I'm telling you, kings and queens, the key is letting go of your past. That's it. Let it go, kings. I'm telling you, I'm experiencing a breakup in my life right now that destroyed me. For a quick little moment. It destroyed me. I felt something in my heart that I've never felt before, in my body and my soul. Seeing a woman that I thought was my life walk away from me. But I'm telling you, I let it go. Because I understand the value that I'm a king and I deserve the best. So who it is that God has for me will be the best. What it is and who it is that God has for you will be the best. I know he cheated on you. I know he lied to you. Why? Because I was that guy before. I know he deceived you. I know he manipulated you. I know he used you. Why? Because I was that guy before. But I've changed. And so if I can change, if I can be loyal, if I can be faithful, if I can be committed, if I can be honest, then I know somebody out there that God is preparing for you has the same things, the same qualities, the same characteristics, the same intangibles to love you the way you need to be deserved. The way you deserve to be loved. If I can work and become the person who I was created to be in purpose, then so can you. I was facing a mandatory minimum of 10 years, a maximum of 20 to life. I was about to go to prison. I have a felony on my record. I was on probation. I was addicted to drugs. I grew up fatherless. I was abandoned. I grew up in the hood. But if I can make it out and I can walk in the fullness of God and in my purpose, then I'm telling you right now, kings and queens, listen to me. Let me tell you something. I'm telling you, you have that same greatness inside of you. You have that same DNA in your spirit. You have that same wiring inside of you to go in today and be the best version of yourself. But what helped me get to this place is letting go of the past. So what I want you to do today is I want you to look over your life and really look and see where it is that you're struggling at and what's not moving forward. Is it your finances? Is it your relationships? Is it your friendships? Is it your parenting? And just look over your life and see where in your past that something hurt you and left an anchor in your life. And then you take that big old chainsaw, you take that big old machete, you take that big old blade and you go out there and you cut that thing off. You release that thing so you can love again. So you can be prosperous now. So you can have abundance now. So you can live in joy today. So you can have relationships and friendships that are fulfilling. So you can be a parent that you were created to be. So you can go on and be the purpose-driven life person that God created you to be. So you can go in other lives and speak the truth. So you can go in other lives and be an example. Look in your life and see where it is. And then cut it off. I love you guys for your time. God bless you guys, but remember, it's not a look, it's a lifestyle. Because we do it every day not to impress people, but to leave an amazing impression in the earth. If you know somebody that's dealing with their past, that they need to get over something, share this message with them. Share this video with them. Support the truth. Don't support me. Support the works. I love you guys. Have a wonderful Wednesday. God bless.